hotel room preparing for the next day, and instead here I was, playing, having fun. When the speech was over, I had a Q&A, which is a great idea, by the way. You should implement that. The Q&A, and a few questions in, a young woman stood up from the second row. She raised her hand and she stood up to ask a question. And that is when everything changed. She said, "Sharon, how are you so confident? When I speak, I feel self-conscious. I feel scared. I feel judged. Have you always been so confident? And how I can be so confident like you?" And right there, in front of the Austin Toastmasters Club, in my red jacket, I had a full-fledged flashback. Flashback to first year of college. First week of my first semester of my first year, I got called into my professor's office. He said, "Sharon, I want to see you after class." Here's what you need to know. In high school, I was so quiet that the teachers would look around the room and then say, "Where's Sharon?" And I was right there. I flew below the people who flew below the radar. So I had never been noticed by a teacher and asked to come into their office. This had never happened to me, but I knew what was going on. Professor Miguel Gura from Argentina taught a class called Interpretation of Poetry and Prose. And I signed up for this class because I loved to read poetry. I did not realize interpretation means speak in front of everyone. So I was assigned a poem, Wild Swans by Edna St. Vincent Millay, and it was supposed to sound something like this. I looked in my heart as the wild swans flew over, and what did I see I had not seen before? Only a question less or a question more. Something like that. Well, when I stood up and I saw everyone looking at me, I completely, literally choked up. I felt like I couldn't breathe. My heart started to race. I started to sweat. I was almost crying, and it came out something like this. I don't think anyone heard a word. I'm not sure that a word even came out. Anyway, that's when Dr. Gura said, "Sharon, I'd like to see you in my office." So there I am in Dr. Gura's office, sitting across the desk from him. He's looking at me, I'm looking at the desk. And finally he says to me, "Sharonita, are you a person who wants to have an impact on the world? Or are you a mouse?" And I started to cry. I cried in his office. I cried on the bus on the way home. I cried most of the night that night. But at some point,